For decades, Ukrainian scholars and experts were deprived from or limited in the possibility to blame Russia. The typical answer to each Ukrainian formulation about Russian rotten nature was responded with the words, "We should engage Russia. We should continue doing business with Russia. We should go on democratizing Russia." Ukrainians were blamed for bias. Ukrainians were blamed for not really comprehensive approach towards Russia, for the lack of Russian studies, for the lack of understanding Russia. Back in 2004, I've read an article by Viktor Tsygankov, Russian professor who is currently teaching in the United States. And in his article, he was mentioning different schools of Russian foreign policy. Among them, defensive realism, offensive realism, and revolutionary expansionism. I was quoting this article in numerous articles of mine. I was quoting him at different conferences. And those who read an article can easily notice how Russian dominating school of foreign policy was transferring from the field of defensive realism to the field of offensive realism. And further on, today, it's clear that Russian foreign policy has all the attributes of Russian revolutionary expansionism. Finally, the world has noticed this transformation. In this regard, for Ukrainian scholars and experts, February 24 of 2022 was sort of bitter triumph. On the one hand, my country, our country, faced the full-scale war, the aggression which tackled all the regions of the countries, not only the southeast part of the country. On the other hand, finally, it became clear that for many times Ukrainian scholars and experts were right, whereas many of our counterparts in different countries of the world were either hypocrites or useful idiots. We are really happy that back in April this year, the Black Sea Trust for Regional Cooperation and the European Commission trusted us and gave us an opportunity not only to assess Russia, but also to assess Russian influence in the neighboring countries. We called it Russian octopus. The influence that Russia had in Ukraine was immense. However, now I think that we have the right and the expertise to highlight Russian influence also in the neighboring countries. We've checked this Russian influence in a few of them, although this influence can be even higher in other countries of the world. We picked the Republic of Moldova, Romania, Bulgaria, and Turkey, because we think that in the region of the Black Sea, Russian octopus has to be trapped first and foremost, because further militarization of the Black Sea, creation of the Russian inner lake with the limited influence of Turkey, can be catastrophic for the whole region of the wider Black Sea region, for Europe, for the world. That's why our countries of focus are mostly littoral states. Each of these states has a number of vulnerabilities vis-à-vis Russia. First and foremost, within the context of these days, it's hard security vulnerabilities. Indeed, nobody in the region was really prepared for the war. Although Turkey is a strong actor and a NATO member state, it was not prepared for deterring Russia in the Black Sea. And now Moscow creates problem for Turkey, although President Erdogan still invests his efforts into peaceful negotiations. Bulgaria and Romania are absolutely interesting case, because basically it was Bulgaria who slapped President Iohannis, and on the day of his visit to Sofia, basically shut his proposal for creation of the NATO Black Sea flotilla. Bulgarians said that they would prefer passenger liners instead of military fleet in the Black Sea area. The Republic of Moldova, although having Russian military troops at its territory, claimed to be neutral for many times. The country is constitutionally neutral, although this neutrality means nothing, bearing in mind that Russian soldiers are in Transnistria. These vulnerabilities have to be tackled, and for each of these countries within our project we've prepared some recommendations. Moreover, we aim to give our recommendations also to the international partners of these countries, because in some cases the burden of hard security vulnerabilities is that high that neither Chisinau, nor Sofia, nor Bucharest, nor even Ankara may cope with them. Another set of vulnerabilities is in the economic area. Indeed, for many years, Russia did its best to create economic ties, often corrupted economic ties, to subordinate the economics of the neighboring countries, and by this means to corrupt not only the economic elites of these countries, but also the European elites. Now it's time to stop this influence of Russia, and within our project we also try to tackle all the economic vulnerabilities and to address them and to provide recommendations for solving these issues. Furthermore, with a weak economy and problems with assuring hard security, no doubt we also have the problems with the political corruption. And that's a typical attribute of the countries of the region. Of course, in the recent years, we can see certain progress in this regard. One of the success stories is the Republic of Moldova, which managed by peaceful means to get rid of pro-Russian President Igor Dodon. And beside the fact that the Party of Socialists and Shor political party are still in the parliament of the Republic of Moldova, their influence is limited. However, we should be very cautious with the situation, because Russians are very innovative in their approaches and put their stakes on the new political actors, and that's important for the Republic of Moldova. Romania and Bulgaria were often criticized for the high level of corruption, probably the highest one in the European Union. Romania and Bulgaria are under the constant monitoring of the European institutions. However, quite often nobody pays attention who is the root of corruption. And in our project, we highlight that Russian octopus is the one to be blamed. And corrupting political elites is one of the tools that Russia effectively uses to spread its narratives, to spread its interests, and to support its proxies. Moving further, we also have to think about information space of our region. Here, again and again, we were saying for many years that Russian information octopus is a very strong one, and not only propelling Russian narratives, but also adapting them to the realities of the neighboring countries was quite a successful strategy of Moscow, of Kremlin. Now, many countries of the region woke up because the explosions in Kyiv in February last year were really loud wake-up calls. The EU has applied a lot of efforts to limit Russian influence by prohibiting or limiting the capacities of Russian propaganda tools. However, again and again, we have to think of deterring Russian information octopus in the region as well. Because by gaining the hearts and minds of the inhabitants of the Black Sea region, Russia tries to keep it under control. Finally, we also should think of the reflexive control that Russia tries to apply. There are many operations in the pipeline. There are many operations on ground. And by assessing vulnerabilities in the economic, informational, and hard security spheres, we try to indicate the most vulnerable areas where such operations can be a success. Therefore, I think that our efforts is worth your attention. And once again, I would like to express my gratitude to all those who came to this event to listen and to learn from Ukrainians who pay the high price for our knowledge. And of course, I would like to express my gratitude to the Black Sea Trust for regional cooperation and to the European Commission who supported our endeavor. For each country, Bulgaria, Moldova, Romania and Turkey, country reports are prepared, and they contain more precise information, more precise analysis, and more precise recommendations aimed at trapping Russian octopus in the Black Sea region.